So if all is good, we are in between Christmas and New Year's Eve. So whether you celebrate or don't celebrate the end of the year festivities, I just hope everyone is doing well. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about my knitting life, my knitting adventures, my project and everything. My name is Isabelle, I am in France in Normandy, and today it's gonna be once again a shorter video about the projects I've been knitting on because I haven't been knitting much lately. I fell. Some of you already know if you've seen my video about the yarn store visits I did when I was in Paris. So I will attach it here, and a few days later I fell on the floor on the sidewalk, and it's just a week from now when I did fail, and I'm feeling a little better, and I could knit a little because my wrist is a little better. My rib cage is not, and you're gonna be hearing me saying that several times in a row, I guess. Rib cage bruising is no joke. It's really painful. I don't want to complain and everything, but it's kind of painful. And I'm pre-filming all of these videos because during Christmas time and during New Year's Eve time, I'm gonna be either with all my family at home, or I'm gonna be traveling to see my mother, my brother and sister-in-law and everything. So I don't want to be having this like little Friday appointment we have every week. I don't want to be wondering. I don't want to have it in my mind, and I don't want to be recording and editing videos when there is so much things to do with people around me at the time. So I'm pre-filming these videos, and today I'm going to be talking about what I have been working on. It's going to be a shorter one because I haven't been doing much, and maybe you will have seen already the video about my Christmas cast on. So we are in between Christmas and New Year's, so I will have casted on already. And I thank you in advance for all the comments and all the help you may have given me last week when I posted the video, when I asked you questions. So anyway, if a shorter video about what I've been working on, even though I had pain in my wrist, is of any interest to you, please stay tuned. So first, what am I wearing on this very cold day? You've seen I've shut the shutters behind me because it's quite late. No, it's 6:30 at night, but it's completely dark outside. It's very cold. So the house is not cold, but I'm feeling cold. So I'm wearing my Pathway shawl by Mayu KP or Kopi. I've heard people say that. But when I just looked on Ravelry, she goes by Mayu Kallio now. So maybe she changed her name or something. Anyway, so it's in the Contrast book that she published, and that was one of my sons offered me last year, and I knit it with Hampshire Down yarn by Frédéric in Atelier Pure Laine. So I love this shawl because the yarn is very sticky. I love sticky yarn, and this shawl is an elongated triangular shawl. So this is the end here on this side. So you have reversible cable. These cables are reversible because they are worked both from the right side and from the wrong side, and it's the same. So of course when you knit, you don't do the same actions, but you do the cabling for either side. So it's reversible. You end up with some kind of a simple border, and there is half of the shawl after some point that is in garter. So it's a very easy shawl to be wearing because I usually place, and couple of you have asked me to make a video about the way I style my shawls. I will do that, but for now, even though today I've been dressing up and changing because my outfits, because I've been filming, this is the third video I'm filming. I thought it was just for one video to be moving around and changing outfits and moving the shoulders around would be, standing up would be too difficult because my rib cage is quite painful still. And I do use this shawl with the garter part on the top. I place it on my shoulders, one under, and you saw my wrist is also quite painful. And I just hope for the best. What is very important here is that this yarn is extremely sticky. So once you've placed it in some way, it doesn't budge, it doesn't move, it will stay that way. So that's why I like this yarn very much. And underneath I have my sorrel, the second winter sorrel I made. Actually it's the third one because I made a summer sorrel in between. And this one is with also yarn by Frédéric at Atelier Pure Laine, but it's her Romney yarn. And I have some mohair that I did do the fade with the mohair instead of fading the yarn as the pattern recommends. You do a fade with different yarn all along the sweater. I did keep the Romney yarn, which is kind of clear, beigey clear one. I did keep it all along and I did fade some mohair. So there was a whole story about the mohair because I started to be with the green and I wanted to fade with the dark green, which is the Petit Silk Lamboule by Biche that one of you gave me, and the green, the blue and the white are wagtail mohair that Rosemary also gave me. And I started to fade, I started to use the light green and I started to fade into the dark green, and I did not like the effect of it at all. So I kind of went from the acid yellowish green to blue to white. And now I like this sweater a lot and I do wear it quite a bit, and I love to wear it with that shawl. So I have only two projects I want to be talking about today. The first one is a half-finished object that you haven't seen yet. I made a sock once I could start knitting again with my wrist. And I made a sock and I'm continuing to use all the yarn from my sons, the leftover yarn from my sons. So I used the green one, the lighter green that I use in one of my son's socks, and the pink one to make stripes. I wanted to practice making stripes. So I did 10 rows for the green and 5 rows for the pink. I guess at some point I will have to change that because it was a bit too long to carry the yarn from one row to the other, and I have 1 million ends to weave in. Not 1 million, but feels like 1 million ends. The second thing for this sock, I made it way longer than the other one that I had made before for myself, also with leftovers, because I want to be wearing them in my boots. So I want them to be a bit higher. And the ones I made, the pink and yellow ones, are a bit too short. So that's one thing. What I will reconsider for stripes for another pair of socks, because this one I'm going to make the other one the same way, is that maybe the 5 repeats for one color and 10 for the other one is not the good one, because at some point I was thinking, okay, I make 5 rows here between the flap and the end of the the body of the sock, and then so that when I go back to the green I just add 5 more rows and that's gonna be it. Did not work that well, so that's what I did. I did add 5 more rows after I was done, but I had to do more after because of the gusset and stuff like that. And when I decided, okay, how do I make, I did not think in advance, So the number of repeats I could do was not some kind of an even repetition on the foot due to the number of rows I was having. I think I have 40 rows between the end of the gusset and the tip of my of the sock when I start to make the toes. And 30 rows is not a number you can easily divide other than by 3. So I know now that I will have to anticipate. I kind of knew it, but I kind of ignored it, and I said, okay, let's hope for the best. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not what I would have hoped as a symmetrical situation, and that the two stripes are right in the right in the middle of the foot and not more towards the tip of the foot. But I don't care. This is gonna be into into my boots. And when I'm home, if someone says, if I take my boots off and if someone says, oh, your stripes are not symmetrical, I think I know what I'm going to be saying. Anyway, first sock made. I don't have much leftover of the pink. I hope I do have enough for the second sock. If I do not have enough, I will make the last stripe either yellow or green or something. I'll see, because I just want to be using everything. One other thing I forgot, I had said next sock I will use 2mm needles and not 2.25 as I'm using now. I forgot to do that. So these are on 2mm needles and just plain stockinette. And I think, I have to say, I'm very happy with the way I've been changing colors, and you don't see the jugs, the color jugs. So I'm changing colors right here on this side, and you barely see the jugs. So I'm going to link down below the video that Nerunga Ruke made on Instagram, the one that I'm now using to change colors in the round and not have obvious jugs. There is a little bit of jugs, but no obvious ones, and I do like that. Some people do not mind when they see jugs on their socks. I don't, or sweaters. I don't like that very much. So I'm using that technique, and I will link it down below so that you can have a look for yourself if you are interested. So first half finished object. And okay, one other thing that I did is that as the cast on was a little bit too tight, not too tight in the sense of when you were wearing the sock, it was too tight, but when I was putting the sock on, if I wanted to stretch it out to place my feet onto it, I was at the maximum of what it could be stretched, and I did not like the feeling. And one of my sons said he had the same issue. So what I did is cast on two needles of two 2.25 needles next to each other, and did just my regular cast on, and it's extremely stretchy. And of course I'm making twisted ribs. This is the ribs that I really prefer, and it's a slip stitch heel, so that it can be a slip stitch flap, so that it can be a little bit more sturdy, wears out a little bit less. And I did not have enough of the thread to reinforce the tip of the sock, because I've used it almost all of it with my sons. So what I haven't said is that it's lang yarn, the different lang yarns I'm using from my sons. And I have to, before I cast on the other one, I have to measure what is left from the other one, so that I can kind of guess how much yarn I need to have when I'm making, either shorties or longer socks. But anyway, one half finished object. And of course, as I was moving to my next project, I remembered I did not say it's, and I'm gonna be linking also down below. It's one of Summerlee's patterns. She has 3 patterns, and I used this pattern as a base to make my own calculation and do my own recipe, but I will link her pattern down below. Okay, next, the little vest, L'Inséparable Yvette by La Libellule Bleue. I think it's only in French. It's a free pattern, so if you want to practice your French, you may want to have a look at it. And yes, it's only in French. And I'm making this little vest with yarn by Terroir Laine that one of my friends who went to knit it when I was in the hospital brought back for me. She asked me if I wanted her to bring anything, and I said, no, you're gonna be, already bringing many things for you. And she said, no, you can't come. We had said we would be coming together and you can't, so let me bring something back to you. So of course I paid for it. So it's Terroir Laine yarn, it's fingering weight, and it's a marled yarn. Why did I choose this project, this pattern? I could have, come up with my own, but anyway, I said there is one, I may as well do it. It's because, I'm not sure you can see, the shoulder construction is kind of like a saddle shoulder or a raglan, where you start to increase only on the body, front and back, and you don't increase at all on the shoulder. So it makes some kind of a flap there. I like that fit very well. I did knit already Outfield, the sweater by Drops with yarn from Lenal West, and I like the fit very much. So I said, okay, I'm gonna just following the pattern. Thing is, I had to recalculate do a lot of math and schematics and recalculate a lot of things, because I think there are copy-pasted places that, make the thing all very difficult to execute if you follow the pattern word by word, which is what I was doing. Anyway, I finished the first ball on the body, so I left the body on hold, and I moved to finish the sleeve openings. So I've done both sleeves openings, and I just, before I started to record, I just finished the little v-neck opening, and I made a slightly higher number of repeats on the v-neck because I did not want it to be too deep. So I did a double central decrease to make the v-neck, and I think I made a little boo-boo at the beginning of the double central decrease, but I think with the busy yarn, and if you're far enough, you won't see anything, and I'm not, when I saw it, I said, okay, I'm not ripping back, and I'm not going back to that. So now I just need to be knitting round and round and to finish it. So I'm quite happy with it. I hope it's going to be a little box here, and I'm going to be making it just below my hip bone, because I don't want to be forced to wear it with either only a dress or high-waisted pants, or having, just some kind of a shirt under. But even if I do that with a shirt, I want it to be a bit more flowy. And I have to try it on that now I'm not at my best shape, let's say, because I haven't been working out in a long time. And as I was starting to work out again, I fell, and I had to stop that, and I was very frustrated. So anyway, when I was trying it on, I liked very much the way it was sitting on my shoulders. I like the deeper v-neck. I don't think there are many patterns like that right now that have a deeper v-neck. And when I was at the beginning of the pattern, I was thinking, do I split my hem at the bottom, or do I not split my hem? I think I will not split it, that I will leave it that way if it's flowing enough. If it's not flowing enough, I won't split it. And this is why at the underarm, in the end, I did cast on a bit more stitches than what was recommended, so that I can have it a little bit more more boxy, let's say more boxy. Anyway, I love this yarn. Once again, Terroir Laine is a local, in France, a local small producer with very rustic yarns. The marling effect is done in the skin because it uses white and brown fleeces that he does spin, he does ply the two of them at the same time. And I think that when you do use this type of yarn and when you knit that together, it makes a more homogeneous marling effect than when you do use two yarn together, because sometimes part of it you have one yarn that is always in the front and part of the time the other yarn, so you have, you know, maybe small patches. Here the marling effect is extremely homogeneous on all the fabric, and I like that very much. And I like this neutral brown. So it was, I had selected a few vendors for her to go, but I did not really know what she brought to me. And you know, it was very inexpensive. 100-gram ball was, I think, €9. And you see, I've been starting to be using this ball to make the borders on the collar and the cuff, but one ball did bring me down here after joining for the sleeves, after joining in the round for the body. So it's 400 meters, but it really goes a long way. I think I'm knitting on 3mm needles. Yes, I am knitting on 3mm needles, so it's a lot of knitting. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. My hope is to first finish the other sock so that I can free my needles to cast on my New Year's cast on. And in the meantime, and if I have enough time and if my wrist allows, I will continue knitting on the vest. But you know, it's just round and round and round knitting now, so it's the end of this vest is going to be very easy. Okay, so that's going to be it for today. It's been a very long day. I've been filming for over 4 hours now because, you know, you have to stop and do other things, and I did change my outfit and stuff like that. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. I hope that my two little projects may be also giving you some ideas. I do enjoy working on these easier projects because, you know, I've been hurting my wrist and I'm just starting knitting again. So I need things that are easy on my hands, easy on my brains, because I'm taking painkillers, and painkillers kind of, you know, mess up your brain. One thing is I haven't gone back to reduplicate. That's one of my goals also, go back to reduplicate and see how it's going and if I can figure out what I need to be figuring out and what had me stopped knitting on it, because I was stuck in my head and I was in the hospital and I was not in a very good place for that. Okay, anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this little time that we are spending together. I do very much enjoy the comments that we share in the discussion down below the video. I do like that very much, and that makes you feel very real. And when I'm knitting, for now I kind of keep some of my knitting joy and happiness for myself because I need it. I'm sorry, I need it. But I also, you know, think of all of our conversations and place you into my thoughts when I'm knitting and send you some joy and happiness. And I know some of you are having very difficult time, you know, health difficulties and things like that. So I'm deeply thinking of you, and I'm sending as much joy as happiness as I can. And I do hope that you manage to do so, because in the process you are building your own joy and happiness. So as we are in between Christmas and New Year's Eve, I hope that you can make a little time to watch a shorter video of mine, like and subscribe, and do all of the YouTube goodness that will help the channel be exposed to more people. And I thank you a lot for being here with me, and I will see you next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top, I have my sorel, so I don't want to be having these Friday little appointment. That's her. May you copy by, so in the pathway. So it's in the, so I hope that your French, you may want to top. I'm all red. I'm all red. I'm not gonna make my makeup again. No.